Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back. So this is another Q&A video. This one is going to be some reactions to episode 17, but also some questions on 18, potentially a few others just on like future episodes, but mostly it's going to be focused on just that. I'm going to be posting these every Wednesday, so if there's any questions you want me to answer or anything, just make sure to go follow me on Instagram. That's just at MusicMan on Terrace Street. The link for it should be in the description. Obviously, this will contain spoilers for episode 17, and if you are new here, make sure to hit subscribe if you want more Walking Dead content like this. First question, with the news of the final season filming and coming out in the summer, do you think it's possible that Andrew Lincoln could be in multiple episodes of season 11 if he's filming the movie at the same time? That's a really good question. I think that he could potentially be in the final season. I actually think there's a pretty good chance he's going to be in the final season. I don't think he's going to be in multiple episodes though. I think he's going to be there in the beginning in the end, the finale, because of the timeline. Unless they jump forward at some point and maybe in like the last 2 or 3 episodes. With the current timeline, it just makes no sense because Michonne just left to go and find Rick. It hasn't been that long since Michonne left, and so Rick returns like right away. Michonne's gonna be in one of those movies, most likely the second one, so it doesn't really make much sense to do something like that right away. But I think for sure the finale, and it depends on the release schedule, because I think it's going to be 12 and 12, but I've been seeing a lot of people disagreeing with that and saying, no, they confirmed they're doing 8, 8, and 8. And that's what I previously thought, but I don't know. I've seen no proof of that yet. I haven't actually seen them say that. Gimple did say, I think last year when they announced it, that he thinks they will be doing 8, 8, and 8, but he doesn't know yet because it hasn't been finalized or whatever yet. And so he's saying that's typically what they do, but he also doesn't really know, so it was just his guess. And I've also seen some articles saying that it is going to be 8, 8, and 8, but it still hasn't really been confirmed yet. Like we haven't had any kind of confirmation on what's coming out, because if they do 8 episodes of The Walking Dead's final season this summer, say they start that in August, well, I guess that would end in like October. So then what do you do in October? I guess would you air World Beyond season 2 and Fear season 7? You could do that. That's the thing. You could do that because I think they are filming Fear Season 7. I could be wrong about that, so don't quote me on that. But I know they're filming for The World Beyond Season 2, so they could have that planned to be coming out this summer. Or not summer, but in the fall. So it's possible they are still doing the 8, 8, and 8 thing. It's just, as of now, we don't really know what's going on with the release dates, and so that's why I'm thinking it could be 12 and 12. They could do 12 from August, which will end in November, then do another 12 in February and go until May. But we'll have to wait and see, right? Obviously, I don't know. AMC should announce that stuff very soon, and when they do, I'll do a video on it for sure. Q&A, who do you think Pope is? Pope is probably a new character, and hopefully we meet that character. I think it would be pretty cool. Maybe Pope is Negan, right? Because I just posted a video on the Reaper guy being the same character or the same actor who played a savior in the Savior arc. Maybe he's a former savior and there's just some connection there. I don't know. What story arc are you most excited to play out in the rest of season 10C? Example, Negan and Maggie, Negan's backstory, Daryl, and this new character we're getting. I would have to say Negan's backstory for sure. That's probably, I think that's everyone's most hyped episode, right? Like, it's the episode that's definitely getting the most hype from a lot of the social media accounts and stuff, and I think it's going to be really good. Everyone's saying it's the best episode maybe of the series, definitely in the top 3 or top 5 of all time. So that's a lot. That's a lot of hype going into this episode, and I'm definitely lowering my expectations, because if you go into it with that high of expectations, like you're going to be disappointed for sure. With episodes that have been that amazing, that are like I think my favorite episode of all time is like the season 4 finale or No Sanctuary. And when those moments happened, I wasn't thinking this is going to be the best one of all time. It just kind of happened, right? I went in with no expectations, and it's really important to go into this episode with the same, I think. This is not a question. This is just a thank you for all your content that you've been posting. Your consistency on the channel is incredible. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I've definitely been consistent as of recent, but in the last few months, I haven't been too much, but I do appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. Do you think we will get a scene of Rick visiting Carl's grave again when he returns to Alexandria? I hope we do. I don't really know. Like, I wanted to get a scene of Maggie and Herschel visiting Glenn's grave, and we could get that in the final season for sure. If they go back to the hilltop and start to rebuild, we could get that. It's just that they saw the hilltop and then they just left. Maybe that's why they waited, is because when they actually do the scene, they want Herschel to be there with Maggie visiting the grave. And if Maggie just did it, getting that scene done then in episode 17 won't have as much impact as if you waited for Herschel to be there, right? So that could be why. So I hope we get something like that with Rick and Carl. I think it is very important just for the series in general. I think in the final episode, we could get something like that. They do have to show Carl's grave, I think, in some way, just because he was such an important part of the show. He was literally the main motivation, the beginning motivation for the show, right? Rick had to find his family. So do you think Daryl will find out Rick is alive in this episode? If not, then when? I don't think Daryl will find out in episode 18. That's a little too soon. I think he'll find out in the final season, probably within the first 8 episodes, I think. What are your thoughts on the Commonwealth and Civic Republic with a possible Cold War between the two? I think they could do something like that maybe in the movies, but I don't. The thing is that like the CRM, they have the military, they have the helicopters, they have all of that. The Commonwealth, at least based off of my knowledge of the comics, don't have all of that. They're definitely outnumbered when compared to the CRM. So I don't know if they can really do something like that. They potentially could. It's just a lot to get into something like that. So as of now, I'm really doubtful of that, but you never know. Do you think one of the reasons they killed off Jesus is because he could have beat the shit out of Beta? I don't think that's one of the reasons, but that is a little interesting though. I definitely think he could have stood his ground to Beta. I think Beta probably could have killed him though in the end, just because that's the thing. I always say Beta can take on anyone, but it's because I think he can. He's massive. He's like, what, 6'5", 6'8", or he's really tall, and he's just like this beastly character, he doesn't care. If you get stabbed, he's just going to keep coming at you, right? Like, he's terrifying. And so I think Jesus, yeah, he can do all those things, but it would be like whacking a twig against a tree, right? Like, I think it would be like that. He can do all these cool tricks, but I don't think Beta's really going to move. Do you think Angela introduced Cole to take Dwight's comic story and death? Ooh, that's an interesting question. That is actually very possible. Yeah, I do like that. That could happen, because like, who would get that death, right? I definitely think it could be him, because if you did introduce some sort of feud or something going on between Daryl and this character, Daryl and Cole, then yeah, maybe Daryl just shoots Cole right in the head. I could see that. I could definitely see that. I like that idea. Who do you think is going to take Rick's place? Who is going to die instead of Rick? I think it's going to be like King Ezekiel or Father Gabriel. I really do, just because you need someone who's going to be very leader-like in that moment. And I think it's going to be one of those two characters, because they are like that. They very much are the type of person to give long speeches, and I can see Father Gabriel doing that, and then they erect this statue of him afterwards, or King Ezekiel. I can see him going out that way too. Besides that, there's not really any other characters that could do something like that, or where it makes sense. Like Maggie could be a leader and make a great speech like that because she has, but she also has different stories in the comics. In the comic, Gabriel and Ezekiel don't really survive until this part. So does Maggie know that Rick was taken by the CRM? I don't think she knows. I don't think anyone knows about that. Do you think either Elijah or Cole will die by the end of season 11? Well, now that question was asked, I think Cole potentially could die. Elijah, I think, is probably good, but Cole, maybe. Yeah, we'll see. Do you think Maze is the leader of the Reapers? I think it's possible. Yeah, just because they are giving him a name, right? His name is Maze. He's played by Robert Patrick. I think it is very possible, but because we don't see him more than that, at least that's the impression I'm getting. The impression I'm getting is that Robert Patrick is only signed on to do that one episode. I don't really think he could be the leader because of that, because you're going to kill off the leader just like that. But you never know. You never know what they're going to do with the story. Do you think the Commonwealth know about the CMR? You mean CRM? Yeah. I think it's possible that they know. Definitely. Yeah. A lot of things, people like that, they probably do know a lot more stuff than, yeah, I would assume they would probably know about them. Thoughts on how much the Reapers should be involved in the story going forward in The Walking Dead and spinoffs? I don't think they'll be too involved, but over the next 10 episodes, I think they will be here. They'll be intertwined within some type of story for sure. In the next episode, do you think it shows some parts of Daryl looking for Rick? Yeah, I do, definitely. What the hell does Pope mark you mean? I have no idea. Like, I've seen this question so much, but I really don't know. Obviously, I think it's just some leader who marked Maggie they know who she is. Maybe it is a savior link, but other than that, that's really my only guess. When Maggie said Georgie headed west to a big community, do you think Maggie seeing Georgie will replace Michonne seeing her daughter from the comics? I don't really think so, because Maggie's not with the group, and that's not really too powerful of a moment. So no, I don't really think that would be the moment. Do you think Elijah and Kelly will become an item or just relatable friends? Well, either or really. I mean, I don't think it really matters. I think they're both going to be very close for sure, just because they both lost their sisters. And just the scenes we got there, right? Like, I don't know if Elijah is like mute or something like that where he can't talk, but he hasn't said a word yet. So like, we'll find out more about him for sure. But because Kelly is having hearing problems, I definitely think they can bond really well. And yeah, they would just be a badass duo. But I'll leave it here. Thank you guys so much for all the questions. If you guys want to take part in future Q&As, possibly anyways, obviously there's so many questions I have to read. I just kind of go through a lot of them. I'll make a post on Monday or Tuesday, and then I'll post my next Q&A on Wednesday after we've already watched the episode. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.